Boys, welcome back to another special episode of the Motorsport Republica podcast. We have Moto2 rider, Aussie legend, Senna Agius. Welcome, mate.
Cheers, boys. Happy to be here to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's good.
Appreciate you coming on again, mate. It's awesome. And down at Phillip Island again,
Yeah.
eh? How good's this?
It's already rained,
Yep.
it's already been sunny, and it's already
been
been
windy.
overcast, and it's 9:38 on a Wednesday morning.
We're in for an absolute treat, I reckon, this weekend.
And you know the first thing we always talk about is the weather when we get here. So the same sort of thing happened when you got here today. So hopefully it clears up. It throws up some mixed conditions we always know with Phillip Island. So we're excited for the weekend, as are you, I'm assuming.
For sure. Honestly, I'm at peace whatever the weather is. I'm just so happy to be here, just to be home. Even the weather in Sydney during this week hasn't been ideal for the first week back home in a while, but I just love being here, seeing everyone. So whatever the island throws, we'll handle it. It's the same for everyone. So whatever it is, she'll be sweet.
Yeah, nice.
I love it. How's the travelling been? Riding around, obviously doing the full year now of the Grand Prix circuit. How's that Is it taking a toll on you, or?
Honestly, the season's flashed. It's gone like so fast. After like going into the summer break, it was like doing a lot of traveling, and then that 3 weeks at home felt needed. But after the summer break, I can't believe we're here.
Yeah.
Like this GP felt so long away in the middle of the year. Now we're here. So speaking of the other boys that have got more experience, they say that after summer break, it rolls on like no tomorrow. So it doesn't feel taxing because you just get into a rhythm. You do the same thing. You fly in, do your job, get out of there. It just actually goes so quick. It's not until you get like mini breaks that you get to digest it. But no, I'm good. I don't feel like don't feel like needing a rest. I didn't really need a rest at any time during the season. So no, I'm healthy. It's all good. It's all
awesome.
sweet.
Well, I suppose you're young, you're living out your dream.
Yeah.
So there's not much to complain about in that sense. I mean, we always go, the travelling must be so hard, but I think we'd rather do it than work our 9 to 5 jobs. But
Yeah, absolutely.
what surprised you, mate, the most about the season? I know you've probably used to that Moto2 bike to a certain extent, winning the championship in Europe last year. But has anything surprised you about the bike and how it's handled and those sort of things?
Nah, honestly, this year's been. I've noticed a lot more about myself changing as a rider and a person opposite to the bike. Like what you said, I'm used to the bike now. It's been, say, 2 years. Okay, there's a couple things different this year, but after the first round or two, everything starts to smooth out with that. But the biggest changes just come with me. I've just felt a lot of growth as a rider and a person this year in the GP world, especially starting with the results I did and then slowly getting better and then tackling some challenges and then finding my way again. So no, I'm just learning this year. It's actually been such an unreal experience, and I don't think I'm doing too bad. I'm leading the Rookie of the Year championship, so it's not going too bad. Of course, you always want more, so just trying to still learn it and keep putting the best foot forward every day, which is tough, but it's not too bad, I guess. So yeah,
That's really
well.
good. Leading the Rookie of the Year championship's awesome. Like we always talk about the jump, I guess, to the Moto2 season, and you see traditionally a lot of riders can sometimes struggle, but you've had good results. I believe you had a 5th in Barcelona, and then leading the rookies title. That's really impressive, and that's really good.
Yeah, I've got my nose up there a few times. Like Barcelona was definitely cool. Without that long lap, it could have been a little bit better, but in the end, it was just a decision it was in the race, wrong or right, can't change it. So no, Germany was also good. I just freaked out being on the second row of the grid when I got the info with 3 minutes on the board, just like the minimum time the mechanics had to change before you're not allowed to touch the bike on the grid. That XYZ in front of me, so whatever it was, Jake, Firmin, and then the guys next to me have all changed to the hard rear, and I'm like... And honestly, my crew chief butted in, read my face expressions, because in that situation I kind of just put it on him. I'm like, you make the decision right now. I haven't used the tyre since FP1. What are we going to do? And he just says, stick to our guns. You've got good pace. And honestly, I thought I was styling in that race because I was making overtakes to stay there, but I wasn't abusing the tyre. I almost led the race there for a bit. And then at one moment, the thing just started blistering, and that was it. I went off the track, and I lost 8 seconds in 3 laps. So I actually was looking down to see if the thing was deflating, what the crack was. So it was so bad.
Wow.
That was unfortunate, but no, Barcelona again, Misano. There's been a couple. Indonesia the other week was really good up until race day. So I feel like I'm getting my name out there enough.
Yep.
So that comes with you get confidence with that. So definitely, I feel like I'm maturing and got a lot more belief in myself, which sounds silly. Everyone should believe in themselves, but doubt always comes into it when you're riding the wave of different results and stuff like that. So no, just trying to level up as a rider.
How good. That's so interesting. It's it's been awesome to watch, and I've obviously seen you grow through the season. You've had some really good results. I have I wanted to talk to you about I think it was last Grand Prix. Was Motegi last Grand Prix?
Sure was.
It was.
How was finding those conditions? Because I think Manu and Iagura went to the wets, and everyone you didn't know with the weather. How
They
did
went
you?
to the dry.
They went to the
Sorry, to the
slicks.
slicks.
Yeah.
How did you find that? Was it stressful? Because on the outside, like, it was a crazy situation.
I'm still kicking myself about that because I feel like I'm the first person that wants to take a gamble and put my balls on the line a bit to risk it. But we didn't do that, and I'm quite angry about it still.
Did you have any say in that decision, or was it the team's decision? Or
On the when we got to the grid, it started spitting, but we knew that it's been spitting all weekend. Everyone's got used to going absolutely flat out with rain on their visor all weekend, so that was not new. But by the time we got to Sector 3 out of the first bridge, it was wet.
Yeah.
Everyone starts putting their hand up in the race, and then you're like, I can't overtake because people are not really racing at that point, and it's so wet. Like, everyone's sliding on the slicks. And then we get to a few corners later and it's a red flag. So they've obviously seen that. We get back to the box, pit lane's dry. So then the team are like, no, wets. And I'm like, slicks. And I'm like, no, but Sector 3, fully wet. Even my teammate, it's an open discussion here. Like, it's so wet over there, you won't get around, no way. Half the team say the rain's going to stay, half the team say it's going to dry. Erda, you're sitting in the box, you don't know when the pit lane's going to open, and it says open in 2 minutes, and I've got no suspension and no tyres in my bike. And I'm like...
That's stressful.
And it starts misting heavier in pit lane. So when I said that Sector 3 was already wet, I've asked race direction what the crack is with the race procedure. They've declared it a wet race, so they're covered. So it's not their problem anymore of who changes the tyres or not. And then as soon as my teammate put slicks in the wets, I said, okay, it's pit lane's now damp, and I know Sector 3's got water in the curbs, everything water. Went with the wets, got everything ready. Pit lane opens, my bike's not ready. I'm freaking out. My bike's got no suspension in it. I don't understand why. I can't really see over my crew chiefs where they're sitting, what the cracks get there. Anyway, I just get out of pit lane, release my pit limiter off 60 meters early, do 150 out of pit lane to get over the start to the grid. And then it dried on the second lap, and I was in absolute shambles. What I didn't understand was I knew the guys on slicks, it was a different race. As soon as I saw the guys on slicks going 10 seconds faster, I'm like, okay, that's out. That was a decision.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's try and beat as many people I can on wet tyres. I was locking the front tyre around 4 times down the hill in Motegi to 0 to the apex every lap from lap 1. And I was like, what is going on? Anyway, we got 20th, a minute behind the leader. Probably worst race decision of the season. I get back and the team informed me the reason why I was delayed is because we went complete wet suspension, where everyone else just bolted the tyres in.
Gotcha.
There is that tyre needs the least amount of weight possible. I'm sitting back in the braking stupid, just to try and not overload this front tyre. And I had a complete torrential rain setting on the front tyre because I was devastated of how bad my bike felt in that condition compared to the others with wets.
So you're riding a fully wet bike with wet tyres in the dry. The worst possible thing you could possibly do.
Completely dry track.
That sucks. I mean, there would have been a lot of people in your position, I think. I mean, they probably wouldn't have gone for the full wet setup possibly, but man, I couldn't believe only 5 guys went to that dry tyre.
On the flip side, I could have been a hero because everyone's ridden in the wet on a dry setting with the tyres because the team don't have enough time. They just wind as much preload off as possible. They got no time change suspension, and everyone's felt that, and it sucks. So I would have been in an advantage.
Yeah, that's right. Good way of looking at it.
Could have gone either way.
But on the first lap of the restart, Agura, Manu, everyone was they couldn't add a percent of lean angle in Sector 3.
Yeah.
They were creeping around.
They were gone. Nowhere.
Yeah.
But especially with the Pirelli, as soon as it overheated, plus the soft suspension, it was getting me out of here.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Honestly, I wanted to go home. I wanted to go home.
Kudos to your team, though. I think at least they've gone and tried something different.
Yeah.
At least they didn't go half-assed and go, oh, we'll just put wet tyres on a dry setup, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
They've gone, you know what, if it pisses down, at least we're going to be having an advantage over everyone else. So,
like, I come in, I was revving. Like, I look back at it now, you probably shouldn't get too frustrated in that situation just because it was just an unlucky situation. But I was revving, and my crew chief was quite disappointed in himself, and you know, everyone's trying to pack up. No one's got time to digest anything. Like, they want all the crates in the flight crate as soon as possible, so everyone's got the shits. And before I left, I just said, boys, I'm upset about that I didn't really take initiative in the box. I'm upset that we'd made the wrong decision, but I don't want any of you to leave the front gates in Motegi and take this to Australia at all. Like, leave it here. It's done.
That's
Like,
awesome,
it was a shit decision. It was a shit condition.
Yep.
Forget about it. So it's all good. Like,
Yeah.
it was just unlucky.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
that's a great way of doing it, man.
That's very
awesome.
mature.
Yeah, very mature.
What can you do? Because I was just
Yeah.
frustrated that also, like, the winner people that are on the podium put slicks in. Like, even guys that didn't get to the podium, they've been nowhere all year. Like,
Yeah.
if you put slicks in, I could have been on the podium.
Yeah,
That's right. You never know.
You've been just as fast as Manu all year, so I think you would have every chance. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. So it could have pissed down, and you could have been in a good position as well. So you just don't know.
Yeah.
And so hard. It's like Motegi. It always rains.
Yeah.
It always rains. It's like Phillip Island.
Yeah, it's the same.
And like last year when it rained for the MotoGP race, it rained
It
hard.
poured.
Yeah. So there was no staying out or anything like that. So it's funny. I looked at like comparing races. I looked at San Marino when Martin came in for wets. Like, and I feel like the whole paddock would have had that in their mind as well. So it's interesting how it goes. But luck might come next time. You don't know.
In saying that, if I was fighting for the world championship with the Gura
Yeah.
and I'm following him and he's on he's like put slicks, I'd probably just follow the guy.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
Everyone should have said Martin needs
Yeah.
to only follow Bad
Yeah,
Guy.
yeah.
You only follow him.
Big balls from Igura though, isn't it? Massive. Like massive kahunas.
Yeah.
At the home track as well. Like
know.
that's,
Yeah.
And it's very like Japanese thing to like stuff it up. You know, he did the wrong thing, but he nailed it. And we had
like the pass in Malaysia.
man, we had high praise for him. Like to do that and only 5 guys and you're leading the championship by 62 points, that takes big balls.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick reminder, we are proudly supported by the great team down at Moto Heaven. They are absolutely unbelievable to deal with. And if I were you guys, I'd definitely head over to their website.
Yes, you never pay full recommended retail price at Moto Heaven and free delivery for any order over $100.
100%. And they've got the best, most usable website in the whole motorcycle industry. Dare I say the world. They got parts finders. You can chuck in any bike you want. If it's a gold KX250 or an R1, you can find anything you want. Helmets, they got everything. Head to motoheaven.com.au where you will get everything that you need. That's a guarantee.
Do it.
What about the boys that went out on slicks and then boxed for wets?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
The opposite way.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
anyway.
I know.
And then did Jake Dixon pit with like 5 laps to go?
Nah,
Was that
Joe
Joe
Roberts.
Roberts? Joe Roberts pitting like why? Just stay out
But
there.
it must be so like as you said, it must be so unrideable. Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't even be having fun out there.
No.
The bike's
No.
just
I'm dead serious. I had enough time to think out there because I had to ride so effortlessly. Like, I followed the same guy for 12 laps that was so slow in front of me. And I was just locked. Like, I would break 20, 30 meters before him, but almost think about I might hit him on the entry because
Yeah,
my
wow.
stopping efficiency is gone.
There's a lot less.
Like, I'm not stopping. Like, I'm locking this thing. I'm like, I'm just going to crash. Like, I'm either crashing, boxing. I just didn't. I just rode the thing home and
So
that
yeah, I
was
was
it.
going to say, did well to bring it around.
No, I rode it. I just rode it home.
But you've been pretty consistent all year, man. Like you've
Yeah.
done really, really well.
Yeah,
And you're always
absolutely.
there or thereabouts. Like the time's going to come. If you're crashing every second weekend and stuff, that's where you're not going to progress. So you're doing an awesome job.
Honestly, I just can't emphasize enough. The category is so like
deep.
strangely
Yeah.
hard.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
gotcha.
we've
Look
been
at
talking
Aldeguer
about
this
it
year.
this year.
Aldeguer's the next star and he hasn't had a podium in how many weeks?
Yeah, we're off his bandwagon.
Yeah, he's fraud watch.
Yeah, no comment. Like, there's just so many things in this category.
Oh,
that
yeah.
there's no like, oh, I don't have the pace this weekend, but there's going to be a big group and I'll just latch on and learn and
Yeah.
hold myself in there. None of that.
No.
None of that. There's like, everyone has their own pace calculation software that they use to see everyone's laps. It comes off the Dorna, like the official timing.
Yeah, timing.
Filters into another program. Everyone uses a different program, spits out your pace. You can see who's doing what. And then often or not, you just take that copy paste from FP3, FP2 long run onto the race, and there's your race.
Yeah.
So if you don't have it, there's no hiding. Like there
Yeah,
is
that's right.
zero hiding. And like you get a good start in this category. It happened to me in Masana. Like a good result, a solid 7th for me. I was sick as an absolute dog. Like I was on the grid panicking. I was going to not finish the race. Anyway, 7th, the closest gap to leader all year. And I literally passed one person. I like got the start. Once Jake crashed, I passed the 2 American boys. Joe passed me back. And I literally did a 15-lap run from what I did in FP3. The dude in front of me that I knew that was maybe 2-3 tenths fast, I did his 15-lap run. And I just yo-yoed him like this, managed the gap behind. Alonso couldn't catch me from behind. And that was a race. Like, like if you overcook the tire, if you're not fit, like you just got to be so, it's so hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, it's true when the races that the tire is a problem, like Germany in Barcelona, unreal racing. And that's a different kettle. But all these normal tracks are not so bad on tire wear, especially with the normal conditions. Everyone's just throwing in heaters. The whole race.
That's right.
Like,
Lap after lap.
Going back to Catalonia, where you finished 5th, and you had probably your best race up there. I mean, you looked at Alonso Lopez in that race. He absolutely cooked his tyre. I've never seen someone cook their tyre so bad. Remember turn 2? He was going around turn 2 and there's just no grip. So is that something that you've been good at your whole life, is tyre conservation?
yeah.
Nice, Tom.
It's strange because my riding style drives off the rear tyre. So you could technically say that I should use more tyre, but I have I like a lot of confidence when the tyre goes off. Like I really enjoy the feeling of the bike pivoting under me, because you've got 2 stages. It's like the entry, rolling grip, the bike to pivot, and then at one point you got to turn pivot spin into forward. So I just feel like I've got a good sense of understanding how much slip I need to turn versus then what's overslipping and then not driving forward. And that's just all with bike setting and weight on the bike. So no, Barcelona's always been half okay to me. So and Germany was the same, so it was fun.
Does a tyre feel like it just, as they say, drop off a cliff? Like one lap you feel like, okay, this is awesome, and then the next lap you just feel it's completely different?
So Barcelona, it was a super slow drop all the time. Just temperature wise, it's quite even, I would say. Like the left side definitely gets a caning out of a couple corners, but it's majority right. But in the end, they were both as cooked on each side. So Barcelona was more sudden. And you could see that with lap times, where Germany was literally 4 laps to the end, or 5 laps to the end. I just went into one corner and I thought my tyre was on the rim. Like that was that. So I've experienced both.
That's a cliff right there.
Like gone. Like I went into turn 8 and it fully come around almost on the stop of the steering lock on the entry as I got my knee down like that. And I went, okay, come back on the track. I went in off gas. Like serious. Like,
Scary track as well, sectioning with that waterfall section. You got to have all that confidence underneath you, because what is it, like 5 left-handers in a row and then that quick right-hander? You want to have the bike underneath you and the tyre underneath you as well.
Yeah.
Scary track. And what track surprised you the most? What track have you gone to and you're like, fuck, this is really, really fun to ride where you didn't think it was?
I thought Texas was unreal to ride, and then I'm coming in after Friday going, this place is shit.
Wow. Is it just too long and just too nothingy for you?
I don't know. Like Sector 1 is so in your face. It is so bumpy.
I was going to say this. A lot of
they
people
say
talk about the
that.
surface is
Like,
terrible.
There's obviously the uphill braking, but there's a G out bump, so your fork goes to 0. Like you lock, you bottom out the fork and lock. Like the front wants to lock under brakes, and then you're going up the hill. And then you're on the edge of the tyre as it's spinning down the hill, so it wants to let go of you. And then
that's not fun at all.
No.
By the time you get a break, you go down 2 into 3, and then you could just go to.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, I had a decent race there, and I had fun in the end. But my Friday was a bit of a nightmare. It's not so bad. Like
it's a long lap on a Moto2 bike. It's what, 2 minute 10, 2 minute 12, maybe something like that. It's a long
It's a long lap in general. I think.
Yeah, I know.
It's 2:08 something.
Yeah, it's a lot of. I think a lot of people say that we don't mind the circuit on TV. I don't mind watching it, but I've heard a lot of riders say they're not a huge fan of it.
That back straight's pretty gnarly going into that tight left-hander as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's been some hairy accidents over there over the years of Moto3 and all that, but it's pretty full on. That's a hard braking corner.
Yeah, Indonesia was sick.
Yeah.
Everyone
says that.
That's a sick track.
Yeah.
Everyone says it's simple, but it's so cool. Like, I can't explain to you, Sector 4, you come in for us, 3rd, 4th gear on the absolute limiter, you grab the brake at full angle.
Yes.
on this Pirelli, like it's okay. And you just hold it the whole way around, and you just trying to understand if you like commit to the angle too early, you'll go into the apex, and then you're obviously fighting on the edge of the tire into that left. But if you could just like go, full boom, and then let it drift, but it's one arc, which is crazy. Like you on your first laps of FP1, you want to like brake, stand it up, go again, but it's just when you go fast, it's just one. And
That's awesome.
That was sick.
That's so
really
sick. That'd
cool.
be fun on a Moto2 bike as well. How you been finding the Pirellis?
Yeah, like now the bikes have come up, so the chassis has been changing a lot in the middle of the year. WP are working overtime. Each team has their own philosophy of how to manage it. So the bikes are, I would say, better on top of the tyres now to
make it work.
Wouldn't say make it work, make it last, just make it handle. We had a lot of pushing at the beginning of the year, oversteer, whatever you want to call it. So something like that was just a torrential problem. Because the Pirelli's got so much potential in the front, but if you overload it, it's so soft. As soon as it squishes on the rim, finish.
Yeah, that's it. It's gone.
Braking's gone, turning's gone. You're not at the right speed. You know what I mean? And then you just have the problem of cooking it. Like you can only push it for so long before it just can't handle. So we've had to take a lot of grip out of the rear of the bike. So now the base settings changed quite a lot. But I think I would probably be speaking for everyone saying that everyone's bike's more stable now. Certainly mine is. Doesn't change as often. Where beginning of the year we were kind of scratching our heads a bit. So yeah,
sweet.
That's cool. That's really cool. What do you how you find the paddock? Who are you hanging out with? What are you doing for training? Stuff like that, especially when you're not racing.
I don't have a massive friend group in the paddock. It's not because I'm antisocial or nothing, but I just have such a different character and background and vibe compared to a lot of the European guys.
Yeah.
So I'm like super close with my teammate. Me and my teammate are super close. You know, we do quite a lot together, hang out, spend most of our time together just because of like planes, cars, hotels, but just also back home in Indora, we're together. So
That's good. That's unusual,
in
isn't
the
it?
same country, But no, it's all good. Jack's always there. It wasn't really nice to see that period where he didn't have a ride. You know, that was a bit devo. But it was super. When I found out that he had the Yamaha thing signed, I'm super happy for him. So now between Miller, Jacobs in Moto3, obviously it's good to see him doing well. Darren and a couple of the other European boys. There's no need for a massive friend group.
No, not at all.
It's cool. And you still, obviously, you talk about doing some running, cycling. What are you doing outside of the bike stuff to kind of take your mind off it?
Yeah, I hung my push bike up around my birthday. I think I did a ride the day before my birthday, and then I hung it on the wall. I was just over it. I was sick of like coming home and doing a stupid amount of kilometers, getting to a certain level and trying to win races and stuff like that at your local club and stuff. And then when you start traveling, you lose fitness. So every time I got back on, I'm like, fuck, I'm nowhere near as good.
Starting.
You know what I mean? So I just thought, okay, with last year, I had 6 races with a couple months in between each race, or a couple weeks, and then you have a big 3-month off. I could do a lot of it. This year with traveling, I just thought, okay, if I buy a set of runners, I get to experience a lot of different countries.
Yeah.
A couple of my mates started running, so I started that. That sucked at the beginning because I just had massive pronation in my legs growing up and just like a really shit posture.
Yep.
So that caned me for a bit, but once you get some fitness and some adaptation going, it's fun. So whatever I am into at the time, I don't like doing things half-assed.
Yeah, go full ball.
I'm not doing 150 k's of cycling and 30 k's of running. I'd rather do 500 or 50.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? So I'm into this at the moment. It'll be something else next year. I'll probably back to that, or I might even go over to the old hybrid and do both, but I doubt it. So no, it's fun. Nothing's changed this year. I had this thing of World Championship being so built up in my head that I'm finally there, but like the same thing happened to me when I come to Europe. As soon as you get there, like the first test, I was always a bit tense and nervous and I had a lot of pressure on myself, but honestly at mid-year I really thought to myself, it is, like I said in the first potty, I said to you guys, it's every race I've just treated as a normal bike race, no matter what category I was. Like I remember being a nipper trying to beat your mates on the line. I'm going to be on Sunday trying to beat those guys. What's the difference at the time? That's the only thing you knew. That was the most important thing, and on Sunday it's going to be the most important thing. It changes, it's your job now, but this year I'm so this point of the season, really it happened in the summer break, just when you had that time to digest. It is just what you make it out to be. So the pressure on yourself, like the races flow on so easy. If you hold tension from one race into another, it only builds up until you want to explode, or you're going to have back-to-back bad weekends. So if you've carried emotions over one into another, or you've already started one knowing that you need to like, oh, I need to show that last week's not where I'm at the moment. It just is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So like I've honestly learned that like if you have had a bad result, or team makes a bad decision, or you don't feel that you and the team worked good enough to have a good enough bike on Sunday, and you get X, Y, Z results, whoever fault it was, which is always a combination of things. It's never just the team or never just the rider.
Yeah.
Like at that moment, you digest it, you analyze, you make a plan for the next one. And what is the best thing that you can do in that situation is how you perform the next time you ride the bike. So if you're holding tension the next time you ride the bike, anger, disbelief, you don't believe in yourself, you're not believing in your project, then it's only going to get worse.
That's right.
So I've just learned that every time I have something, I face any adversity, that the next time I go out, it's like the best thing that I can do is then, you know what I mean? Like it's a fresh start.
Start again.
Like it's the same thing of, I know a lot of people suffer with like when contract season's up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's that time. So like the only thing, especially your employee, let's say like team owners, like the only, like they don't want to, like especially Jürgen, my boss, never wants to like get into me after a bad result. Like if he tells me if I've underperformed, he tells me I've underperformed.
Yeah.
But I don't want to then, like I think in the past I used to make show the people around me that I'm disappointed in what I've done. So like carry emotions, carry anger, just so they know I'm not happy with how I'm doing. But that's not how to get over it. Like
No.
after a bad result, believe it or not, I just get so angry like so quickly, completely burn it, get my points through straight away, write all my stuff down, have my debrief, and then done. I'm smiling again.
Yeah.
And another person can look at it and go, "Oh, this guy doesn't care that he just come 20th." No, dude.
It's far from.
Yeah.
This is my plan to next time. I'm changing my situation by doing this. So
Yeah,
I struggled so much with that in my previous years in racing.
Yeah, right.
So much.
Sorry,
I was
Daniel.
just going to say, did you have someone to help you with that, or was that something you just internally thought, no, I need to change this?
I'm not even strange. Like my dad's with me all the time. My dad's been with me the whole time. And I probably look back and I probably should have been a little bit more open with him and other people around me at the time. But I like internalized a lot of it growing up. Especially when I first come to Europe, I didn't really mention a lot of things. I realized a lot of it myself, and actually just listening to, strangely enough, other podcasts of other races, especially especially a lot of the podcasts of the American Supercross guys with their calendar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eli Tomac's podcast, Chase Sexton's podcast, that a few things that they've said, even the James Stewart podcast, I understand a few things that I related to a couple of things that they faced growing up and in their career that I've used. But I didn't really utilize enough people around me growing up in that aspect. I had a riding coach, Stephanie Redmond. They're still one of my good friends today.
Yep.
That was always on riding and what I'm doing on track. But anything away from the track, I bottled it.
Yeah.
Good or bad, don't know. Have I learned from it? Yes. Do I know how to handle it? Yes. So I can't really say what's right.
That's
or
the
wrong.
main thing, though.
19 years old. I mean, seriously.
But that's great head on the shoulders. That's for sure.
I know for a fact Christian Craig, the year that he was in Star Yamaha, I don't think he won the championship. Who's Christian's? I think it was Cooper Webb. I think super close with Christian. One of them when they were both in Star Yamaha. On Cooper's podcast, he said that when Christian didn't win a race, he cried all the way home, like was really emotional. Was like going up to his boss saying, "This is not my level. This is not what I want to do." And you know what I mean? And I feel like I used to do that. I used to be like trying to, what I just said before, trying to show people that I'm not happy with myself, just so you know I want it.
Yeah.
That's not, you know, that doesn't help you next week.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting. The psychology of sport is very, very interesting on how you can approach things and internalize things. You know, everyone does it differently, but how I guess you're aware of what, you know, you have done and how to correct it is a massive thing, because you see anyone in any sport, whether it be boxing or motorsport or football, you know, the best of the best, their psychology realistically is on point. And it might be completely different between person to person, but if they recognize what they can do, can't do, 100%. And how they internalize it, it almost changes everything. You see that in sports teams. Like,
well, you look at like Roger Federer, you know, cool, calm and collective. You know, when he was a kid, he was angry, smash rackets. And then just went, one day I'm flipping. This is how I'm going to be. And then obviously the most successful tennis player. in history. That's a great example, I think.
100%.
And the way you can realize that as well.
Yeah.
And be like,
At a young age.
At a young age and go, this is not right. This is not how I'm going to grow as a person and also as a motorcycle rider. That is amazing to hear because it's going to put you in good stead going into the future as well.
Yeah. One thing I've also learned that this year is I've always made the Sunday the easiest day.
Yep.
No matter where you are in the field. Like, obviously, if you're on to win, it's going to be less stressful than if you're on to just get a point. But I've tried to do all my stress early in the weekend, because how to perform in the category is that, like, you need to do all your work and practice. You need to have your tyres, how your tyres are going to be dialed on Friday, if not Saturday morning max. If you do like enough work there, you come Sunday's all good. Like what I said, you do that. You make sure that you can be aggressive on the first couple laps. You do your rhythm, and then that's it. That your result's your result.
Yeah, it's that preparation.
Yeah.
It's like I've just tried to make Sunday the easiest day and really emphasize the work done on the beginning of the weekend with just doing quality laps out there and quantity.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there enough practice in the weekend?
No.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I was
That's
going
a
to
quick
say
answer.
from the outside looking in, you wouldn't think that at
No.
all. You would think obviously the opposite, that Sunday's the day where you're, a bit more stressed.
Yeah, no. There's not enough practice at all.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, FP is technically, so it doesn't count anymore to provisional
Yep.
Q2.
Yep.
So you've got FP2 to understand you want to carry a tyre from FP1, you want to do a long run at the beginning of FP2 to understand I would love to do a race distance on one heat cycle.
Yeah.
Like when we say, oh, we're doing a race run, we're going to put the laps of the race on the tyre, but there's a 3-hour heat cycle for lunch break in the middle. So like, is it reheating it okay? Or you do a race run and you go, oh yeah, it's sweet, but we've changed the bike. The tyre's been reheated. Some tracks, randomly, it works even better than if you did a long run. Or you go, oh my God, I'm not going to get to race distance with this tyre, or I'm feeling terrible. But it's because it's reheated.
Yeah.
Like, so like, you know what I mean? Like the 55-minute practice on Friday is going to be okay because I don't know what everyone's plans can be, but you can do a race distance on one tyre, and that's going to be exactly what we need. So
Yeah.
And no warm up. I mean, you would never experience a warm up because they didn't have it last year. But Moto 2 and Moto 3 boys used to have a warm up on a Sunday
I didn't
morning.
realize that.
They don't have it anymore.
No shit.
no warm up.
So it's that's a hard thing as well to go full bolt into the race after a sighting lap and a warm up lap.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty crazy.
That makes Montegi even crazier.
Like I just can't imagine going to the first corner and going, I don't know what grip I've got right now. Like that is the biggest thing with motorsport that fucks with my head.
Yeah, and like back to the sessions, FP2, like I said, you do that long run, you carry the tyre, you do like an L5 on a new tyre at the end of FP2 to try and do your first attack to get into provisional Q2. Saturday morning, it's 2 runs on 2 new tyres. So you can technically say, yes, first part of the race, but if you're doing L6, L5 on these long tracks, we've only got 30 minutes. So that's just 2 time attack runs. And then no warm up, you get 2 sighting laps on Sunday morning, so you try and push like a crazy man on the out lap on Sunday morning just to try and warm up a bit.
Yeah, wow.
And then exactly that. So if you really nail it down, it's like Friday, which doesn't count, and the first run and the second run of FP2. But if you go to a new track or your bike's not in the window on Friday, you kind of panic because then you've got a long run and then a little time attack and then 2 time attacks quality in the race. Like if you break it down, there is nothing.
And there have been a few tracks this year you went to that you haven't been to before, I'm assuming.
No. Like Indonesia, Japan, America.
Yeah.
It would have been like Argentina and
Yeah.
India. They got cancelled, but a few got moved out. But it's
I just can't. Yeah, I can't. It's you gotta like. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm comparing it to it, but like if I hop on my PlayStation game and play the MotoGP game, okay, It takes me a day to learn that track, and I'm sitting on my couch. I don't know how you do it on a bike, even know which direction you go.
There's a big difference there, but from between you and Senna.
Oh yeah, a couple of kilos. No, it's cool. And then like, I don't feel like there's enough practice either. I just don't know if one of the practice sessions get rained out. Like, man, I just don't know how you do it.
no.
I really don't. And that could happen this week. Like, we could go into Phillip Island on a Friday. It could rain all Friday. Hopefully not. Touch wood. And then you go into Saturday and you've got, you've got to qualify. And then where's your long race? Where's your race pace? Where's your long runs? It's just and then also the resurfacing of the track this year. Is it going to be
That's
going to
be
tire
very
wear?
interesting.
Like we were here for Superbikes and they had pit stops.
Well, there was chunks out of tyres, man.
The Aussie Superbike boys were coming out yelling at the tyre engineers.
Who copped it? Michelin and the Pro?
No, Pirelli copped it.
Yeah.
We seen
And they
Brian
got their hands in
starring.
the air going, it's not my fault, this is ridiculous.
We seen Brian afterwards because they pulled a tyre compound that they had used early in the weekend. And like, not allowed to use this tyre. And he was seething, to say the least.
Yeah, that was
And
one angry person.
He gave Pirelli an absolute earful.
Yeah, because they've trained on this tyre.
They did all their sessions on this tyre. Then for quali they go, no, you can't use the tyre. Quali and race, no, sorry boys.
Brand new
Choose something
tyre
else.
that you haven't been on. This is
Yeah.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, wasn't happy. But like we spoke to Garrett Gerloff and we were asking him about it and he's like, yeah, it's wild. He's like, we won't see out more than 10, 11 laps. You know, our Top Rack's tyre had a literal chunk, would have been the size of that sticker taken out of it.
Jesus.
Like, it was, it's going to be interesting
Not
for
to
you
make you
boys.
nervous or anything, just
Yeah, I've seen some photos of Losey's tyre on the back of that V4. Same thing.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
massive blister chunk out of the side of all of it. So
But yeah, Alonso Lopez is going to come out and he'll be riding them to shreds. So
Oh.
you'll again, if you have this local knowledge though, I think you have an advantage.
yeah, like in Barcelona, it was enough for the guys to sprint and fall back. But some races in Moto2, if you almost go, the fallback is less. You lose less on the fallback than you would have done by waiting.
By waiting and then trying to go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there's
it's
often
true.
a lot of races, believe it or not, speaking about Pirelli this year, so I had to manage
Yeah.
the tyre, that I've gone, like everyone goes and then deals with it. And then because the margin they've built up is more, you know what I mean? So Barcelona, Germany was enough to fall back.
Yeah.
But some races this year, a number of races this year, like Canet the other day in Indonesia, there'll be others that come to mind. Qatar, the just go for it was better. And if you start 15th place, you can't get to 12th or 13th on the first lap and go, okay, we're okay.
I'll manage,
We'll stay here.
Gotta
We'll
keep
manage.
going.
Because if you don't pass, you'll get passed.
Yep.
And then, you know what I mean? So it's really, qualifying is, I didn't mention it before, but qualifying is so important this year because the less you stress the tyre, if you can just, like in Misano, I just like got a good start, got up into 8th and then just kind of had to sat there and the guys in front of me were like where I was on that analysis I was on about before in the practice was where I come in the race, like that 6th to 8th, I was 7th.
Yeah.
I started just there and I could get there and just run my pace. I didn't have to, like my teammate, for example, had to chop the field and he like overcooked the tyre to like try and start catching us. And then when he got within that window, then he doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
So if you start there, your life's so much
So
easier.
is it tyre temperature is the issue in the pack?
Yeah.
So high tyre temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Interesting.
front tyre also.
Yeah.
Like we don't have the sensors on the dash of tyre pressure. We have temperature, but you don't look at it. I did in Barcelona for the rear. Long straight, you could look at it on the right corner, but we don't, like MotoGP have the pressures and they have that window. Like we will still get in trouble if we're at the window, but we don't know where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our
tough.
window's
That's
larger than MotoGP and our window's more sensible. Like the MotoGP one, if the teams had a petition to alter the range, they would do that. So everyone's not flirting with the limits where the Moto2 one's wider, but it's also so sensitive with the Pirelli. So if you don't have a shit race and you're following someone or you're pushing wind and you go, the front didn't feel good, you'll learn after what your pressure was and how to manage it.
Yeah.
What frustrates us with GP in that tyre pressure and temperature and stuff is like they're thinking about it while they're riding. It'd be so much easier just to ride the bike, like Marquez in Assen, for instance,
with
like
Digio.
because he wasn't expected to be at clear air, so then he had to go behind Digio. I mean, that's just not racing.
No, it's not.
It's just ridiculous, you know.
Yeah.
That was dangerous.
So dangerous, and he's trying to slow down on the pits to let Digio through. Like, I don't know how that has become a thing, but it is.
It is.
So is the pressure an issue with like, you know, tires coming off rims and stuff like that? Is that their issue, or is that never going to happen?
MotoGP, they say yes. For us, I no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think so.
For us, no. Quite confident in saying no because we don't have enough power and forces where MotoGP, they definitely do. So MotoGP, yes, but for us, I think it's more just Pirelli's performance window. I don't really know. I'm sure there's a safety element, like you can't go doing stupid things with the tyre pressure, but it's definitely not because we're flirting on popping tyres. So, like, I doubt other than Germany, a couple in Barcelona and Qatar, no one's really put holes in their tyre.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So signed up next year, intact.
Done.
Beautiful. That's good to hear. And
Yeah.
you'll have another. You get back to so Thailand's the first Grand Prix next year, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting start. Is that a circuit that you enjoy or?
Yeah, I raced there back in 2018
Yeah.
along with the other Asian tracks that I'm about to do as well. But like when I showed up in Qatar this year, I didn't remember it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
so different. on
Well,
a
every
big
corner
bike.
looks exactly the same. Qatar, it's a hard one.
You get lost there.
Underrated track. Come on, man.
No,
Damn it.
no, take it
I've
off.
been told.
Take it off. It's just a whole lot of nothing. It's just-
I like it.
you like the lights though. If it was during
it's
the
under
day,
lights.
if it was during the day, it'd be a
Oh,
bit
no.
rough.
Yeah.
Thailand's
Like it.
cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see what it's like on a big bike. Like I remember that last corner being ridiculously tight on a
Yeah.
17-inch bike. So
Yeah.
on this thing, it's probably going to be even tighter. So no stress about that. It's closer to home. Well, when the calendar first got announced, I was like, sweet, I can just go, because they were on about doing the Moto2, Moto3 test in conjunction. Like don't skip winter testing in Europe.
Yep.
Just do the Moto2, Moto3 test with the GP test in Thailand. It's like, sweet, I can stay an extra month in Australia.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be good.
And then the calendar come out and it's like 8th of February in Portimao. I'm like,
God, that'd be cold, wouldn't it?
cold, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like 8th, 9th in Portimao, and then there's like 3 days in Jerez, and then back to over to
Oh,
Thailand.
that's all right. What's it like during a race weekends? Like on a Saturday night, Friday night, are you doing anything in particular to kind of take your mind off the weekend, or are you kind of visualizing the weekend? Do you just watch movies, or?
The days are quite long. After you finish the last practice, you kind of give the team a bit to do whatever. Like for me, it's go to the physio, the Kirion, like
Yeah.
massage and stuff like that. Just relax, eat something, do your debrief, and then with the hospi being at the track, you stay at the track for dinner. Depending on overseas, obviously you go out, or you eat, depending on the country, you might eat the MotoGP hospi.
Oh yeah.
Like we have here, we don't have our setup. So no, dinner's at the track, so you'll leave there at 7:30, 8 o'clock. You know what I
Really?
mean? So it's a dragged out day. So I just try and escape a little bit. I don't like sitting in the box the whole day.
Yeah.
Between other races, my mates, you go sit in the hospital, you just try and filter around a bit. You know what I mean? Just to try and break it up.
Yeah.
So it's a long day, but no, I only have a little small space in the track, like no bed or anything, so I can't really get up to too much. Like I can't really sleep or just take time out away from people. So you're with your crew all day, which is not a bad thing when your crew's good. So it's all good.
It definitely make it a lot easier.
That's what we've found speaking to a lot of people. If the crew's good and you got a good relationship with them, it changes everything.
Yeah.
You know, because I guess you're with them for all year, traveling. Like you can't escape.
100%. Yeah. I think everyone gets under their skin at some point. Like I
course.
definitely, the crews travel, they're all this small similar nationality, like between German and Italy and Belgium. My majority of my team covers that. And then the mechanics are mostly Spanish. So
Yeah.
I think they definitely get under each other's skin right about now, more or less. I think the week at home definitely saved their relationship a little bit, but no, it's been quite nice.
Because it's a German-owned team intact. Yeah. Yep. That's unusual? I'm assuming there wouldn't be a lot of German teams in the paddock at all. A lot of Spanish and Italian and
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. I think we're the only German team. Maybe RW's. Where are they from?
Mark VDS.
They're Belgium.
They're Belgium.
Now, what everyone wants to know, Senna, is are you coming out Sunday night for a beer with us?
There's either two things happening. I'll come out Sunday night because I've done well on Sunday night. I'll come out on Sunday night because I want to forget about Sunday. No,
Well,
see.
We're hoping for option one.
We the riders after party at the hotel. We normally we're cooked by then, usually. But Superbikes this year we went out and we had Unoni out there. His lovely partner, wife, Daniel.
Partner,
you know a
I
lot
think.
more about her.
Superstar singer. You got pictures of her on your wall or something,
I
don't
didn't
you?
even know who she was.
Like
man.
familiar?
She's probably my cousin.
She's really talented, James. Okay, and then so it was actually a good night. So we'd love to see you out.
No, for sure. I've got we've got two houses between my whole gang.
Yeah.
So I think we're just going to do dinner, probably hang around there for a bit. I'm not actually into the whole GP party, to be
Yep.
fair. You go from we're on the 17th weekend. You see them every day, every
Yeah.
weekend. And then there's an after party on and everyone's got a Monday flight. You're like, okay, we'll go have a look. And then it's just like the same guys with different clothes.
That's
on.
funny. So that's a normal thing. Like every place has a pretty much an after party.
Nah,
everyone's
not
just
really.
NPCing, standing around.
Not
sort
a
of.
lot. Like there's one, there's probably been more, but I only went to like say America, Indonesia.
Yeah.
There was a cool one. The whole paddock was in Indonesia.
Really?
Whole paddock.
Or and just like a big a pub thing, or
No, it was like a beachfront gala thing. You probably
that's
saw
cool.
the videos.
Yeah, I think so.
You know,
Yep. So
That's
everyone
cool.
went. Everyone went.
it is the entire paddock.
Yeah, that's cool.
To crew chiefs, to riders, to all mechanics, to all Dorna staff, to physios, to the camera people, media, everyone.
That's cool.
So it's not bad.
That's
But
cool. That's
to stay
cool,
there
bro.
all night, and you know what I mean. I'm like, no, get me out of here. Like,
Well, the thing is as well, like you're flying out Monday, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
To where are you flying to?
I'm going to Sydney for the night.
Sydney for the night, and then to what's the next race? Thailand.
Thailand, so it's like
Yeah.
Bangkok,
And it's it's a week. Is it back to back? Isn't
back to
it?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's back to back until Valencia.
Because usually
Yeah.
it's 2 weeks break after Phillip Island, but I think it was
No,
last.
last year it wasn't.
No, like last year was the first of the
Was the
change.
yeah.
Yeah. So everyone's sort of traveling, wants to get out of here straight away. It's
6 and 7 weeks, isn't it? Wasn't it last year or something like that?
Yeah. It's a long way to travel, isn't it? From like Phillip Island to Europe, it's the longest travel I think of the year.
Yeah.
For a lot of people. So lucky you, I suppose you're just going straight back to Thailand and then home again.
breaks
so.
it up.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
kind of hop home. Thailand's obviously not that far. Then
Yeah.
Malaysia, and then a week to go pack everything up back home in Andorra, and then head down for last race, and then get straight out of there.
Yeah, nice.
Are you
Nice.
coming back here after that?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Be back here for a couple months.
You spend the summer here, nice.
So needed, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this week. There's not enough time to see everyone you want to and do
Of
things you want
course.
to, but I always enjoy my time home. Like, actually had a good conversation with a couple of mates the other day about say retirement, like where obviously my base is Andorra. I want to have my own place there in the coming years. Like that's all cool and that, but once I'm done, I'm not becoming a European. Like I am European. I have ethnic background, but it's definitely not home for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
Definitely not home for me. Like Andorra saves me a lot. Like I lived in Spain and struggled. I struggle a little bit there as well. I wouldn't be able to live there. Like I could do anything. I can live there if you told me to
Yeah.
live there, but I
Yeah.
don't like it.
Yeah.
I get away. Like all my mates are all from England and stuff like that. Like so, and while Andorra's cool, it's a bit more multi. And it suits my lifestyle, suits my training and my needs. But home's like when I went back on Monday, like there's nothing going on. My family are flat out. There's business runnings. There's trucks going in and out of the driveway 5 a.m. Like it's not like I'm on a holiday at all. I'm
Yeah.
running around for mum doing all sorts of stuff, but it's like way more normal and I'm at peace with it. Then
Yeah.
like I'm happy to do that once I'm finished and help out and be with my family. Then just like if I've made it all the way and can retire and do nothing or just live the life type thing, which I'll never do. It's not in my DNA. I wouldn't be able to just live it in Europe by myself like that. So
Yeah.
for sure.
There's no place like home. man.
Nah,
Where's mum?
100's
Where's mum
not.
live in Sydney? Is she?
So we're from Cobbity, so it's like 40 minutes inland.
Yeah.
Back from the city and then around Eastern Creek, like 20 minutes this side of
Gotcha.
Eastern Creek from
Yeah.
the M7. We live on a farm, 100 acres. The background of my family's started off. My grandfather was lived on a dairy farm in around Belgany area.
Hey, Balgani.
Yeah, Cobbity. And then he moved into a transport business, soil yard transport. And then once he was into his retirement, mum and my uncle took over. And then now my brother off-branched into a civil engineering business that we run trucks, transport, civil engineering, heavy haulage, stuff like that. So it's just like a company running out of my home and a small office. So it's a family-run business from my grandfather as my brother kind of off-branched his own side with his support.
That's awesome.
And that's my whole family's into that. So obviously, mum's there, my sister's there. It's a small company in the scheme of things, but it's most likely what I'll be doing. Maybe after racing, if I have to, you know what I mean. So
It's always good to have someone to fall back on.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
You got nothing like a family business, I suppose. So.
Yeah, and as I'm getting older, I would say I was I wouldn't say arrogant kid, but definitely didn't understand on my first years of when I separated from my family when I was 12, 13. When I mean separated, just me and dad going out, not seeing my sisters,
Yeah.
not seeing my brother. never used to take into consideration what family really is until I see. It was like the first time as the youngest sibling, I always felt like I was like the youngest, you know what I mean? Like my brother, like you're honestly like always just trying to do what your brother's doing or your brother's better than you, everything. But the support I felt from them the last 2 years is like, wow, like there's nothing like family. Like even just seeing them this week, like it's so nice. So like I said about once I'm doing what I'm doing, like all their sacrifice of that business is like allowing me and Dad to be away. Like for me, it's almost right that like once I've done my part, I would love to just come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
give back.
Pay the
you know what I
favour.
mean?
Yeah, that's so cool.
I wouldn't be able to repay the favor to my parents or my brothers, or I'm sorry, my brother and sister, but just to be back with them, it's where my home will be. Like it's so nice, and it's crazy that I think it's only natural to get older and see it that way. So I'm glad I see the importance in it.
It seems like you have a very clear vision of how your life's going to go, and it's really, really, really good to see.
Yeah,
it's
cool
exciting because
perspective.
it just gives you like you can just concentrate on, you have that support behind you. You can just concentrate on riding that bike and doing the best you possibly can and see where it takes you.
It's always been clear for me, like it's either going to happen or it's going to not.
Yeah.
So what can you do each day to make it that percentage of it is going to happen. So that's it. I'm in that concentrated period of my life right now that I've got to World Championship. I'm not there. Like, yes, you're in the ballpark, but you've got to get to the front. You then need to get to MotoGP. So I'm in just like I said, a concentrated part of my life right now that everything I do each day is to one thing, and that will be it. If I get there, I get there. If I don't, honestly, I will have had put everything into it. Happens, it happens. Doesn't, it doesn't.
No, it's a great way to
And
look
that
at
doesn't
it.
mean that I don't believe in myself. I believe 100% in myself, and I will do everything. But at the end of the day, I'm doing what I love. You know what I mean? I'm chasing, like I said, with getting older, you look at my life right now and I go, holy crap, like I am so fortunate. And it's not just 'cause of the things or the opportunities I've been given. Like I've believed that I've worked and deserved 100% everything I've got. My family put everything that they've got to put me in the position I was moving to Europe long ago to put me in the position I am now. I just want to be able to, Darren Lawrence said this, Darren Lawrence from the Motocross Boys, and I don't remember if you remember that interview with Jack's father, Peter, at the barbecue at Phillip Island.
Oh,
with
I remember.
Aki.
Yeah.
They interview him, and Peter says, what was your biggest fear? And he said, my biggest fear was getting to 50, 60 and realize, I could have given this kid a chance. Like he could have been something. Like I 100% can tell you that my dad thinks like that. And even I think about that of myself. Like if I am finished one day talking to you guys again and go, I would have did X, Y, Z different, I will not sleep. You know what I mean? I won't be happy. But that's just my goal every day is to tick everything off and do the best I can, and that it'll be what it'll be. So yeah, I've just learned how to be present this year. There's so much going on that if you start getting distracted about emotions, what we touched on earlier, you just lose it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Lost in
So
it.
I feel, strangely enough, I am a different person this year. And it only excites me because it's the first year. So different opportunities, challenges, categories to come. I just would love to have a peek of what's next for me, but you don't know what life throws at you. So that's why you just got to think about that now.
It's interesting. When we last chatted to you, once you left, Tom and I looked at each other and we thought, shit, this guy's got like
a different league.
Like your mentality and we've spoken to a lot of people and everyone's different in their own right or wrong.
Yeah.
But we thought, fuck, this guy's in the world championship. Like you could tell how you spoke, that like this guy's a world championship rider. He's got a vision of what he wants, and you would just kind of know bullshit, I guess, in a way. Like, and we just found that really striking, and we've always kind of said it. And we went to you,
absolutely.
Daniel, were like, fuck, Senna's like, don't want to get on the wrong bad side of him. But like, not in a bad way, but just as in you just knew what you wanted, and like it was like, fuck, this guy's there.
You can feel the intensity.
Yeah, intensity.
And that's incredible. Like, and I think the way you speak and how you articulate your words and what your vision is just incredible. And there's really no one to compare to.
I just feel like I've learned that there's so much wasted energy on worrying about everything. Like what you said about me being, say, strict or however you just put it, like being intense. it's like this period of my life right now is technically so simple. Like I have one goal each week to do the same thing again, like do the best job I can, to understand, to be the best person I can. Okay, compared to everyone else out there managing kids, mortgage, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my life is so simple, and I've just realized it now that you can put so much of you, like we are capable of so much. And like even going to the stadium the other day to watch old mate Ned do 4,000 whatever laps around that track. Like we are capable of so much. So if I can do the best I can and put my whole effort, like it's so simple. And so like I'm just trying to execute, or I'm just trying to just take it all in and do the best I can with everything I can. And if that comes with being intense or serious, like it seems that way because I'm like super thing, but I'm also chilled, you know what I mean? So I just think that
I think it's a bit of both. Like you know, so you got to be so serious and whatever, but you can see that you're still vulnerable and you can look inside yourself. And I think that's a massive mark in anyone, but it's definitely a elite sportsman like yourself, where you know you can look inside yourself and be, okay, I've got to work on this, or I've got to change this, and that's a hard thing to do. And I think everyone in their life gets to that point. It's just how you tackle it. And obviously,
that's right.
for a 19-year-old, pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I'm sure there's not a huge amount of guys in the paddock that are like that. And I think there's a few Moto3 boys that are coming through that, you know, you can see there's, you know, if you call them spoiled or stuff like that throughout their life, you're never going to get to the top. So, like, I think of like Romano Fenati, just that hot head, you know, like he had the talent, but he was never going to make it because he just didn't have that extra.
When you touch other people's brake levers going down the back straight of Misano, it's pretty full on.
It's pretty full on.
It's so wild. Like we do that to each other on the trials bikes in Enduro. Like you'll be riding between sections.
Not on the back straight of Misano,
that's
but
one thing. That's one thing to do that, and oh man, nearly goes over the bars. But to be in a race and actually, have you you stick your hand out the car window?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a fair effort.
He's actually pretty talented.
You know what's funny? If you go on Romano's Instagram and check his bio, it says something in Italian. If you translate it, it says reckless motorcycle driver. I kid you not.
at least he's owned it, I suppose.
I kid you not.
How funny.
That's wild, man. That's pretty good.
Have you been watching, you're a dirt bike fan, have you been watching
massive.
motocross, supercross, all that
100%.
stuff, following the Lawrence boys?
Yeah, every week.
They're incredible, aren't
Incredible.
they? Yeah.
I look up to that family so much.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact my dad looks up to that family so much. Like what Darren has done with those two boys is incredible.
And to put them both through, like that's the hardest thing when I was reading into it, is you got two bikes, you got two sets of tires, you got two of everything. To get them both through and both
Doubling
stars,
up.
it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how he's done it.
Like a lot of me and my character and how I go about things is not like obviously you learn about your through your own experiences, you learn and you take things on of what works for you and what doesn't. But a lot of me is I do an incredible amount of research and listen to an incredible amount of other athletes of different sports, whether it was Federer, like he's a massive icon for me. The Lawrence boys, Sexton, all these top athletes. I just I listen to their things. I see what they do. You know what I mean? Like podcasts are such an incredible thing. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts, whether it's Rogan stuff or other elite sportsmen, and you just take things. You take quotes. You take when they start getting. I just really like athletes that can go into depth and you can listen to them and learn off them. And like I said about what I was saying with Christian and Webb about what Cooper was saying about Christian and how he can improve on that sense. I was like, well, I related to that. Like I really understand that. Like, so I really dig podcasting with elite sportsmen. It's something that I definitely try and do when I'm got something else to do in life. So
we just cut the bullshit out of it as well, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh yeah, how's the track going, and you know, and all that kind of bullshit. We want to know about you, and, and what makes you tick, you know. Like that's the reason why
interesting.
That's the reason why we started this, because there's nothing else like it. You get the Fox Sports interview, and you know, love Renita Vermeulen, we're a friend of the podcast. But there's that style of interview where like we want to know about you, not about.
Yeah, you can't extract information out of a 2-minute interview.
No.
You know,
it's structured questions as well. Like
you probably hear them every weekend, wouldn't you? The same type of question.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
and like it's so cool to jump on here with you boys and just just talk. You know what I mean? Like whether it sounds good, whether it doesn't sound good, you're not answering like, what's your aspiration for this weekend? Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm just like, then you just start becoming a bit robotic. Like it's, I guess she does a good job with it, and she's a cool person. She's doing her job. But every journalist is doing their job. So
Yeah,
exactly.
They're paid to do that job. Yeah, exactly right.
Did you watch the Des Nations and the Aussies get up?
100%.
How good was it?
Unreal. And shout out to Kyle Webster.
I know, what a legend.
Shout out to Kyle Webster. Like to be picked as in with the Lawrence boys. They're probably thinking, oh yeah, it's Jed and Hunter Lawrence and there's Kyle Webster. But Kyle did an amazing job in America.
He was like seventh in the first race. He was
he did an amazing
seventh.
job in America the other week, just on his own effort. Like I don't know what team he was in, but he went to American motocross. I think he got like a whole shot in the 250. But to go up against them and perform like that, and then take the win like that, like I hope. He's such a cool guy and such a talented guy. He does a lot of training, I think, down south here. Yeah, I hope he gets to go overseas. But shout out to him to show up like that and perform.
Yeah,
it's a great call.
You know, overseas, and it's such high pressure now being in the Aussie team because you've got the two Lawrence boys on here.
Well, there's only one spot now, really. Like for the next how many years? Like there's one spot left. So
are you boys going to go to OzX and watch the Lawrence boys?
Well, we want to.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. We'll have to meet up then. It's we've been trying to keep up with a bit of it, and me personally, I've grown up a lot watching motocross and supercross, and one of my idols is Travis Pastrana. I think he's amazing, and every week, I think it was this year and last year, I'll tell the boys how did Jet Lawrence do in the motocross season. Yeah. And I go, he's 1-1. 1-1. And then goes 24-0. And it's just, but to do something like that, how the fuck do you do that? Like I know it's been done before with Carmichael and Bubba, but like I think it was almost, was he a rookie on that 450 as well?
Rookie 450, it was 24-0.
That's
if
crazy.
I'm not mistaken.
We would love to get those. I'd love to have all three on this podcast because, and listen to their stories because, that's the Lawrence boys and Webster. Because that's that we always talk about it. They don't get enough media coverage. Motorcycle races in general don't get enough media unless you win fucking 5 world titles like Mick Doohan, and even then he might only get like a 10-second spot on Channel 10 that no one watches. Like,
man, Jet and Hunter could walk down the street in Melbourne and I don't think they'd get recognised.
No way.
It's crazy.
One part of me wants to say I wish that they kept in touch a little bit more with Australia, but then if you look at their whole family, like Jet, Hunter, Tate, and Daz and obviously their mum moved there. It's their whole life. They sold everything here. Like I remember racing Jet when the bottom category in 65 class was like 9 to 13. So I was 9 and Jet was 12. So he was on like a different plate color. I was like blue plate and he was like red or yellow plate. And I remember racing Jet then. So once or twice, obviously smoked me and everything like that. I was in racing at a class above, but like, how can they be in touch when their whole life's moved there?
Yeah, that's right.
So, like, it's a nice thing that they're coming back to OzX, and I dig that. And I think a lot of people are going to come to see them boys. And even when the weekend that he raced in Melbourne when he first turned pro, when they did those behind-the-scenes videos or that movie clip that's on YouTube did with him, that was super cool before he went to America. But I guess they don't need to come home if their base is there, but
the money's overseas. Let's be honest. Like the money's in MXGP or it's in the AMA series. They do all like the super motocross and stuff, and it's just how it is. It's just always. It's always going to be the way. Australia's just such a small market compared to everyone else, so you can't blame anyone to go overseas and do any sport. And it's just cool to see a successful Aussie overseas doing that, and
most
far
definitely.
out they're successful.
Talk about the workload of Supercross, Motocross, SMX.
It's crazy.
That's nuts.
It's all year, and like it's such. We've talked about it. One of our videos actually blew up talking about how people don't realize how physical motocross is and Supercross and the training that goes into it and how fit they got to be, and then the injuries they take if they come off. Like they wear nothing. It's nuts.
These supermoto, however you want to banner these boys now, super motocross, whatever, motocross, supercross, they are in the top 5 fittest people in the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you.
There you go.
Chase Sexton would be one of the most powerful athletes I know. 100%. Like, incredibly.
It's so true. You see them like we've said it before. If you try and ride around a motocross track, if it's sandy or rutted out, good luck lasting 2 laps.
Puff's getting out of the car park. But
Try bending over, putting your boots on.
Like, imagine the physical strength. Like Ken Roxon would probably be one ahead of Chase. Like Ken Roxon is an incredible athlete. You try to do the physical demands of that sport, but then it's just as equally mentally. How do you go from doing these rhythm sections to understand to put you off wheels in a 20 centimeter space at all times? And what's past that is like almost death. Cross-riding in a supercross track. Like I come from a motocross background and I've tried it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you have something so demanding?
Yeah.
Like something so physically exhausting and mentally challenging. Like, okay, cycling, for example, you need to know how to ride a bike in a bunch. And it is a physically taxing sport. Same with running, same with anything. But it's just less. Like, sorry, but it's less riding your bike. You know what I mean? It's just you're more concentrating on your diaphragm and your cardio and your nutrition. Where you got to do all of that. It's so fatiguing in such a short period. Well, technically, when you're out there, a 30-minute moto at the track feels like forever, but technically it's short.
yeah.
And it's so like mentally taxing. Like it is. It's so hard.
And that goes back to Jet 24-0, like no puncture, no mechanical, no accident, nothing, all season. Like it's amazing. It's one of the most amazing things
The
ever.
stars have got to align, right?
They have to. But that just goes back to talent and putting the bike in the right spot,
Mentality.
preparation, mentality,
Team harmony.
fitness.
It all plays a part.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 years, I've really seen the sport with like character in the sport, like with Hayden Deegan in 250s and what Jet did to the 450 class with bringing this new era of personality to the sport.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say, but MotoGP misses that so
Oh,
much.
dude.
Yeah,
Big time.
We were
We
watching Hitting the Apex last night, and like back in the day with Lorenzo, Pedrosa, Rossi,
Simoncelli.
and like
Yeah.
Simoncelli and Pedrosa
Hated
each other.
Yeah.
Then you had Lorenzo, Simoncelli hate each other. Then you had Rossi on the Ducati, and then him hating Stoner. Like
They
you
just
don't
weren't
get
afraid.
that
They
now.
weren't afraid to say.
No, they weren't afraid to say. They weren't afraid to show it on camera. And now like Vinales and Bagnaia start punching on in the sand trap and then shake their hands a minute later.
They're cuddling on a bike back to race direction.
But also the media.
100% the
Yeah.
media.
Like,
Yes,
I just
100%. You
don't
can't do
know-
anything wrong.
I can't. It's probably you guys probably have a better perspective of this, but I can't. Like with say Gypsy doing the press conferences at Supercross,
Yeah.
he then promotes the press conferences onto his channels. He then puts thumbnails of cocky comments or good or bad comments or drama in the press conference, and then you read that, and even if you didn't read the Supercross press conference, you've got a clip of who said what about
That's
something.
right.
Yeah.
MotoGP, there's not that. Acosta is trying.
Oh, we love that.
yeah.
He's so
Trying.
good.
Yeah.
Acosta throws it in. Moto 2, it's like you don't even get to see that. Like Moto 2 is like it's a world championship. Technically, American Supercross is not a world championship. We are the second most difficult category in road bikes in the world.
Yep.
But we American, you know more about the drama between Chance Hymas and Hayden Deegan than Alonso Lopez and Agura.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's almost sad in a way, but then we're
Personality
just
makes it
not,
though.
we're technically, it's a weird way to put it, we're not as famous. Like we are not as famous as that. Like we're a world championship, but compared to like American motocross or even F1, we are not. The GP boys, yes, of course, but everything else is definitely not.
No, I get that, but that just comes down to personality. And look, the problem with that is MotoGP is obviously corporate, and then it's bound by sponsors. So
that's
look
right.
at Manu Gonzalez.
Prime
He
example.
did that
Yeah.
headbands, and they pulled the sponsorship. But like you can't. No one that.
And he showed that tiny little bit of personality, you know?
Exactly right. But the MotoGP riders or the riders or the drivers or the motocross riders that get the fan bases are the ones that are just themselves. Let's be honest. They're just
outspoken.
themselves. They don't have to be controversial and on purpose. But Pedro Acosta's getting fans because he's being himself, where I guess you might have to stick your neck out and be yourself, and good or bad. And same with Jorge Lorenzo. Like, you know, we make fun of him, Cheeseburger Lorenzo, because he could put on a couple kilos. But he was himself. Love him or hate him, he got paydays from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he also rose the sport. Marco Simoncelli, the same thing. Valentino Rossi to another level.
Yeah.
But it's just being yourself. And if you have this platform, Senna, where you can be yourself, then people watch this and go, fuck, I like this guy. I relate to him.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And that's obviously why we do it. But that's what they need more of, because I'm sure there is another 15 riders that would be so marketable, but we don't have the chance this season.
No.
And that's the crime in all this. Rant's over.
Like even Top Rack.
Dude.
Yeah.
That looks cooler than half of us. You know what I mean? Like half of like the MotoGP guys. Like the celebrations this year is sick. Like I want to know what he's going to do for when he wins if he wins the title.
Oh, better than Bang Knight doing a 3-point shot.
3-point slam dunk.
Don't get me wrong, that's it. But not every weekend. Like Rossi, Top Rack's almost back when Rossi was with the blow up chick on the back of his bike.
He was
Like
What do you guys think? Just off topic, what do you guys think of the Superbike Championship? Like, is it something that like they frown upon as like a bit of a what did we call it last night, James? Where the MotoGP riders go to die.
Nah, great. Who called it? Someone called it the MotoGP graveyard.
Graveyard. Is it looked at as like as the from your category, or is it still a world class category?
what MotoGP riders died in Superbike career wise?
Yeah.
Can you think of who comes to mind?
Daniel.
As in they've gone there and they've been shit in.
Well, actually,
Tito
Like
Rabat.
you just said MotoGP graveyard.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. These
100's
two
not.
think it is.
So there's Tito Rabat, but
He didn't.
Top Rack hasn't moved over. Buliga didn't get to MotoGP. They're individual athletes.
Johnny Ray would have had the
Jonathan
opportunity.
Ray should have come across.
He never came across.
100%. I
Yeah.
think it's a missed opportunity, but
Yeah.
I don't believe no one's like, okay, when Jack in the media says that he could have had something with Ducati, went over. I don't think there's a good chance that Jack was going to then, I think Jack could have then reappeared after that. I think it's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
I dig superbikes.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I think it's unreal.
I love it. It's these two that give me shit for loving it.
I think it's unreal.
No, we like it. We like it.
Oh,
It was,
don't be like that now because we got a guest on.
what people make fun of Superbikes, I guess, is the coverage. I guess
The calendar.
It is a bit
the calendar.
barbaric.
The calendar.
It's old school because we went there this year and we loved it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is good.
Back of the pits vibes at Superbikes was unreal.
Yeah, it's elite.
Unreal.
It's elite.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Michael Hill.
Yeah.
Who
Paddock show.
Man,
He's the man.
he's probably the most talented person I've seen like on stage. Like he was unbelievable.
100%.
I'm surprised that MotoGP hasn't got him, but
I don't know. For me, Superbikes is actually incredibly difficult. Like my manager Leon, obviously being a part of Honda, and now Mark VDS, I know what we're super close. So he obviously confides in me and speaks to me about his job. Obviously, I'm super passionate about bike racing, so I ask a lot of stupid amount of questions and get to see the inside of it a little bit. So it's a massive thing for manufacturers because at the end of the day, it's their street bike.
That's
so,
right. They're selling bikes from it.
Like, is Ducati this year having 7 bikes in the top 10 the other day are probably going to sell Ducatis on Monday. But
Of course.
if the V4R's winning, then this V4S thing that's coming out soon, this 2025 model, is probably going to do better.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
So I do dig Superbike, and if I get to MotoGP and it filters down into Superbike, then I'd race Superbike. Like
Cool.
I think it's cool, and it's only going to get better. And like Top Rack I reckon Top Rack's one of the most talented riders in the world.
Oh, man, he's absolutely unreal. The stuff that he can do on a
100%.
bike.
That Stoppy video that keeps reappearing on my page, and it's like,
Stop rack.
Which one, man? He
man,
does.
the one he like puts it perfectly into the pit box from the start of the pit lane.
I love
like,
it. He like pulls the handbrake.
The handbrake
it's
one's
so
cool.
Crazy.
He's
But that's
elite, man.
personality. Like, that's personality that you want.
Yeah.
They're good in that paddock. They all seem to have a bit of flair about them if you watch a bit of their interviews and that. But like you said, the actual coverage is a bit average.
Yeah, it just
At
needs to
times.
go to another level. And
They need to go to America. They need to go to.
they need to race
Asia.
outside of Europe.
Yeah.
That's the only race in
Calendar,
Philippines.
very good point. The
Yeah.
calendar is poor.
That's what doesn't help it.
Australia's the only round outside of Europe.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
But
isn't it?
everyone was kicking on about that this year, but it didn't.
And
really
the Asian
change.
market is huge for motorbikes. So I don't
Yeah.
know why they're not racing in Thailand or Sepang or something like that,
Sepang.
because they would pack out that joint. Like sometimes you look at where was it? Tom's favorite track, most of the nuclear power plant. You look at the
That is terrible.
but you look at some of the crowds and there's no one there. You got to move that track to an Indonesian
Yeah, that's
circuit.
right.
And
Yeah.
obviously, there's probably a whole commercial thing, and everything goes back to money. But That's if you want to build a sport, you
That's
got
where
to
it's
go
gotta
to
be.
these Asian circuits because that's where a lot of the fans are because they relate to it because they all ride bikes.
Like really, they need to go to Thailand, Indonesia, Australia,
Texas,
Laguna.
Oh, Laguna.
Laguna
yeah.
would be
Yeah, it's
mid.
very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Bring back Laguna. If it's okay for superbikes, it will in the future with Liberty Media coming. We will be back there.
Yeah, 100%.
Or did GP race it? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Only GP. There wasn't.
Nah, Moto 2,
Moto
or
2.
125, 250s,
They
whatever
didn't-
it was
they
at the
didn't go.
time. Nah.
Oh, wow.
The
Not enough
paddock
room,
wasn't big
not
enough.
enough room in the paddock.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that track is gnarly. Like some of those turns, that left-hander going up the hill,
Yep.
there's
So,
no
yeah.
room. You can't
Nah.
crash there.
They
No
have to
way.
spend some cash on redoing it. You'd say, like, look at Phillip Island with the catch fencing now. Like when we were kids, we never had any catch fencing Phillip Island. Now
Yeah.
it's halfway around the circuit.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Is it
everywhere.
everywhere?
So
Yeah.
turn 12's now all catch fencing.
Siberia.
You can't watch turn 12 anymore. There's no
wow.
peel.
Miller, Siberia.
Yeah.
It's in a few places now.
Yeah,
Because
wow.
we were down there for ASBK a couple of weeks ago. And
Is it going to
So-
affect sitting on the grass or in the grandstand? Or
not on the grandstand. And I don't think in Siberia on the
But
grass.
turn
it used to be
12,
sweet.
Turn 12,
Yeah.
they culled the hill. We
you
used to
can't
sit on
sit
the
there
hill.
anymore.
Yeah.
That used to be a great spot to watch.
Gotcha.
You could used to watch them get loose, especially in practice, sliding out of turn 12 is one of the best spots to watch.
So there's catch fencing on turn 4 now.
And I think there's catch fencing
Yeah.
in turn 1
So
as
you
well.
got the corporate seating right behind the catch fencing. That kind of sucks. Because they got that Honda. That's a cool
That's-
grandstand
yeah.
there where Jackson, he's got his fan base and stuff.
Yeah, that's all catch fence now.
It's not on the straight. Is it on the straight?
Only coming out of 12.
Yeah.
And then I think it cuts off.
But that's
doesn't it?
always been there.
So catch fencing's the fence with the curve,
Yeah, with
yeah.
the top.
Yeah.
with the barbed wire and
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah.
What are they catching?
I know.
A bike's
seriously.
never even been near that fucking that
Nakagami's
site.
bike.
I think Wayne
Stiff.
Maxwell's Suzuki in 2018 was closed.
Ooh.
Yeah, right.
Well, going back to superbikes, it was a classic moment in superbikes. Johnny Ray had the biggest accident we've ever seen in our lives on turn 12.
Well, we didn't see it though.
This shit, they didn't have it on camera. Like, come on.
Still can't find it.
Touch wood. We still can't find it. So, and he was out, I think, for rounds. Wasn't
Yeah,
he
you
after
missed
that?
a round, I
Yeah.
think, from that.
So,
That's when Remy motocrossed his bike,
yeah,
jumped Johnny's bike,
that's right. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't see
and
it.
landed it and came back to the pits and
Had broken suspension or something, or broken something.
yeah, popped his tire and I think
How long
Busted.
ago was this?
that was the
Round
start of
one.
the
It
year.
was February.
Remy jumped his bike.
Yeah,
Really?
we couldn't see it on the foot. There was no camera.
There's no footage of it, but
It would have got 10 million views. He would have made bank. No
Yeah.
footage. Old
No
mate was
footage
asleep
of
on
it
the
at all.
camera.
You're kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, superbikes. Yeah, old fella was asleep or something.
That's
so.
where Liberty Media will
Yeah.
help. What do you think about Liberty Media takeover?
I have no idea. Because what is it like?
What does it mean?
What does
Yeah.
it mean? Like I first thought, okay, all this Dorna, the name Dorna, all the staff is, but it's not.
No.
So for us at the moment, it's not nothing. There's nothing going on for us at the moment.
Yeah,
It's different. I'm
it's like a
sure-
big company just taking over a smaller company.
Exactly.
I
yeah,
suppose.
that's right.
I think Erda will definitely have changes because they've got different people to deal with. But
Yeah.
for me, it's only good. I can't tell you what's changing. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. You know
Well, it's
what I
interesting.
mean?
They sold a portion of Formula One to buy
To fund MotoGP.
or Dorna, yeah, like which is pretty crazy. And they've also bought superbikes as well. So
Also, yeah, it's all under the same banner.
yeah, pray to the Lord. We got maybe a US race at least.
F1 just lost Rolex as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
That
Tag,
was a
Tag's taken over, I believe.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
gee,
like
that's a blast.
It's it's Tag, but it's a group company. So it was a stupid amount of $1 million deal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the biggest deal in history or something. They
Yeah,
said. Yeah.
Do you
You
watch much of the F1?
I do, but I won't sit there and watch the whole race. Like I like F1. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I'm Devo that Daniel's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it. I don't love it. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Well, Oscar Piastri is an interesting cat because he just doesn't. He's so like
Weird?
ultra. No, well, not weird, but he's just
He's weird.
he's a bit quirky.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the personality of a Aussie Formula One
Yeah.
driver who we're used to, like
He's
Webber
like-
and
He's like the four-wheel man version of Adam Cincerillo.
good point.
Doesn't look athletic.
Yeah.
Doesn't look,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah, skinny fat. He's like skinny fat.
I don't know about that, but just
Cheeseburger,
like,
cheeseburger Piastri. We'll make a new one.
but you know what's cool that you can be like that, and people dig that because that guy's like that.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Kimi,
that's right.
Kimi
He's
Kimi
himself.
Raikkonen.
Look, he's himself. And
Exactly.
that's the thing.
Like-
Kimi Raikkonen's the same. He was like everyone should hate him, but everyone loved him. It was crazy.
No, you can't hate Kimmy.
I'm a big thing about just being like everyone's character is just how they've been brought up, their
Yeah,
culture,
that's right.
everything like that. So even it like something that it's a touchy subject, but even Australians speaking Spanglish in interviews.
Oh,
That
we don't like
absolutely
we don't like the
boils me.
accent.
Like,
Yeah.
talk about what makes me tick. That makes me like.
That's why we
Yeah.
like seeing Jack Miller go back to Townsville for a couple of weeks because he
But
gets the accent
I
back.
think Jack in the last couple of years has dropped it a little bit. But you
Yeah.
naturally, I do it as well when you speaking with your crew.
Yeah.
But I do not, and I
No.
consciously do not speak in front of a camera. I don't
Yep.
care if the guy interviewing me can barely understand me.
Yeah.
But the majority, if I repost this video or that I've got an interview or a segment done on me, a lot of my following's from Australia.
Yes.
Australians going to be looking at me. People from Europe know that this rider is Australian.
That's right.
They'll figure it
You know
out.
what I mean? The best thing to do is that if you're going to attract Spanish TV is to speak Spanish. You speak Spanish, that's super cool if you're
Yeah.
bilingual.
Yeah.
Other than that, no.
Yeah. Oh, here. Oh my God.
I like it. That's
Yeah.
true though, and like they'll figure out. We hear Italians and Spanish writers, and they might say something in slang, but you just figure it out. You
Yeah.
understand what
That's
they're
right.
saying.
It's not going to
You
help
piece
them
it together.
understand it better anyway if
Yeah.
they're speaking with a
Like,
with
I
tongue.
guarantee you, if my mum heard it, she would ring me and say, like, open your mouth. Like, talk normal. Like, promise. So that's one thing.
That's funny.
That's mad.
Are you into your watches? Nice Britling on your wrist there.
Yeah, I am. This was a present for my 18th from my family.
Oh, nice.
Combined. So, yes, I do a lot of like research and
Yep.
follow a lot of stock market trends and stuff like that. So
Wow.
I'm into my watches. Yes.
Yeah, it's huge now. I mean, I watch these on TikTok and Reels and whatever. Buying and selling and stuff. I'm super getting into it. We had a cool sponsor, Grip Auto, who provide us a few watches as well,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. So
There's
cool market.
Now's the time to buy.
Yeah.
Whether it's grey market or not, definitely with different models, but definitely into it. I just like, I dig it.
Yeah, cool.
Dig it.
It's good fun. Special helmet this weekend.
Yes.
Where'd you draw the inspiration from? What are we expecting?
I think you know where it's coming from. You're just trying to get me to say it. There's a collaboration happening. Reached out to. I got to meet Casey last year. I'll say it's with Casey Stoner.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, whatever. It was in the teaser video anyway in the background. So I got to spend a little time with Casey. Not much. A couple of days back up in Andorra. Didn't speak about. I saw him. Was hanging out with him for about 3 days. I didn't speak about motorbikes once.
Nice.
Like, it's crazy.
He would
that-
appreciate
Wow.
that, I think.
Yeah.
He does not want you to go up to him and speak about why he lost the title in last year. Didn't
Yeah.
win it in 2012. I don't think. He
Yeah,
won it,
the
did he?
ankle.
The ankle.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
Yep.
wants to talk about what we're doing in that moment, whether it's trials fishing. Like, he's so articulate of a person. I dig that so much. Like, talk about me being intense with my passions. He's
Big golfer as
Yeah.
well. Loves
massive
his golf.
golfer.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got into golf this year massively. I went from not being able to hit into the ball to I go to the range multiple times a week. I'm still terrible, but I'm on the path. But
It seems like addictive golf. You know, you guys played a bit as well, and
I'm a bit like you. I'll pick something up for a year and be obsessed with it, and then just not want to touch a golf club, and that's what I'm at the moment.
hundreds.
So I got my handicap down to 10. Was loving life, and then I haven't picked up a golf club for about 6 months, and it scares me.
I dropped a couple grand on clubs back in Andorra, and I've obviously come here for a week. I'm here for a week, and I'm here for another week, so it's 2 away from me clubs, and I'm not thinking, well, I've already sucked. I'm gonna suck now. Like, great.
The golf course here is actually not too bad.
I know. I said to
Yeah.
Darren yesterday we're gonna go play a bit of play around today, but the weather's not playing ball.
No, it's
Well, it'll get better.
it's not a bad course actually. It's a used to play there a lot as a younger fella, but haven't played there the last couple of years.
Sick.
But
Wouldn't be off 10 now, though.
oh god, no, I'll be struggling, man. It's like you talk about your cycling. I know this is completely different,
Yeah.
but you came back and you're like, oh, I haven't rode for 4 weeks and I've lost my fitness.
Yeah.
You haven't hit a ball for 4 weeks. You're like, fuck, I can't hit it straight anymore. This sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to touch it
Similar,
anymore.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a similar mindset, you know.
Back to that helmet with Casey, what I was saying just to finish her off. So honestly, it was a situation where like I left my home GP idea so late that I like didn't have anything. And then I started to think about icons, heroes, inspiration. And then, I spoke to Leon about if I can talk to Casey about it. And initially I wanted to run the 2009 bike design helmet. Like that, I wanted to run everything got to do with that design. I wanted the boots, gloves, helmet. 2009 on that white Ducati. I wanted the design, so we teed it up with the other helmet manufacturer, with my helmet manufacturer, with contracts and stuff to try and lease the design. the two helmet manufacturers didn't come to an agreement. So in the end, the idea got dropped. That was no problem. I'm still going to run the boots and gloves.
That's cool.
But the helmet didn't come. So instead of going Casey boots and gloves and then something strange on a helmet, like that's not in that theme, me and Casey, I designed a design and sending a lot of different drafts and ideas from Casey and Adri, and she gave me a lot of like inspo. We've come up with what will be done this weekend, which is super cool.
That's exciting, man.
That's dope, man.
I'm very, very happy about it. Casey's such an icon for me. Even I'll say he's my favorite rider to this day, even though he's obviously not current, but I just really like the intense attitude in his career, even though if everyone feels it was short-lived, but if he put everything into it and felt like time was finished, then you got to respect that. So
yeah, absolutely.
I just dig Casey's theme. So
yeah, nice, man. That's awesome. Keen to see the kit. I'll get real
That's
nerdy about
exciting.
all that stuff.
yeah, I was gonna try and not say anything, but I kind of wrecked out
We
with the
talked
video.
you into it. It's awesome.
No, but even on the Instagram, I'm holding the replica in the background.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can see the pattern. I don't care.
What are you running? Alps boots?
Alps boots.
Yep. Ixon gloves?
Ixon gloves.
Yep.
Where's the fam sitting? Where's the fam set up for this weekend?
I got some mates in Miller Corner. I got a couple spread out along the track that we couldn't get into the pits, and then majority of them are above pit lane in that hospo area.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
nice.
cool.
As long as just wanted my immediate family to have somewhere to eat and
Yeah.
get out of the rain if it rains, especially my grandmother and stuff like that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. You got a few people down. That's awesome.
Yeah,
It'll
I
rain.
have
It'll
some
rain.
passes going around so people can. It doesn't matter. It's allowed to Phillip
Yeah.
Island.
Yeah.
We smile about everything.
We
so
do. That's it.
yeah, just so they can enjoy it. It's gonna be the first time that my sister, brother, and my mum's been to a couple. She's never been to watch me in World Championship, but she's been to Europe before. My brother and sister in Japan last week. But honestly, the whole gang and friends and family and people that helped kicked off my road racing journey with Tony Hatton and his partner and his son and a couple close mates are here. So it's going to be the first time, which is so special.
That's awesome, man.
So
It's awesome, man.
I just hope it's a great weekend for everyone.
It will
Not
be.
only for me, I hope everyone enjoys being here too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun cheering you on.
Yeah.
We'll have to get down to Honda Corner or Miller Corner, whatever it is, and cheer on with you. And it's going to be awesome, man.
Are you guys in the paddock?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Come say g'day.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
we
100%.
will. We'll
we're-
come and stare at you in the box.
Come. You guys are sick. Cool bunch. We're at the beginning of pit lanes, like the new pits.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
Up
Oh
there.
yeah,
Yep.
cool.
The beginning of pit lanes.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Beautiful. We'll make sure and knock on the door and
For
say,
sure.
is Senna around? Can we
What
send
do
his
you, what
bike?
do you guys want?
Mate, thank you for coming on. It's been an awesome
such
chat.
a good pod.
Yeah,
God.
it's went for it's gone for quite a while. So,
Yeah, 30. An hour 30.
Whenever I get shivers down my spine when we're on podcast, it's a good one.
yeah.
If it's a long pod, it means whoever you're interviewing is not speaking about themselves the whole time. So I'm happy to talk about other things and
Yeah, it was
disconnect a little. So
That's
Love
good,
it.
man. Good luck for the weekend. Good
Yes.
luck for the
Yeah.
rest of the season.
Cheers.
It's been a lot of fun watching you. And, we'll see you this weekend. at
Yeah,
the
see you
track.
in the island.
cheers, boys. Enjoy.
Thanks,
Thank
mate.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.